Hello everyone, it's Dr. Sam. I'd like to welcome you to my EyeClarity Podcast. This is a show that offers cutting-edge information on how to improve your vision and overall wellness through holistic methods. I so appreciate you spending part of your day with me. If you have questions, you can send them to hello@drsambyrne.com. Now, to the latest EyeClarity episode. All right, another neuroscientist I need to bring into the conversation. There are two of them today I want to bring in. And it's a gentleman called Charles Sharington. He came up with something called the Sharington model. It's a model that's still used today. It's quite prevalent in the rehabilitation, the conventional rehabilitation movement system. And he's the guy who developed something called the knee-jerk reflex. He worked with the reflex model of the nervous system. And he also researched how spinal reflexes affect the muscles and how that gives information to the nerves. And there's a feedback loop where the sensory information goes to the spine and it goes to the muscles, and it creates this muscle tone posture relationship. Now, one of the things about the Sharington model that I find to be limiting is that it's a bit linear, and in the rehabilitation model, when I was working in the physical therapy areas of the TBI in hospitals, I stepped out of the Sharington model because I found the Sharington model to be very much in the area of repetitive and superficial, and it didn't really add the inquiry, the internal awareness that I found was needed in being able to access a deeper level of neuroplasticity. So the Sharington model stays on the surface. And although it's an important part in the history of the nervous system development, I found that it really gave a limited view. And especially in eye care, nobody is talking about rehabilitation or regeneration or neuroplasticity. But if we take it to the brain level, the nervous system, body level, there are so many dimensions to what we can do beyond the Sharington model. Which brings me to the next person that I want to introduce today, and his name is Stephen Porges, and he developed something called the Polyvagal Theory. And it's a very involved idea of the evolution of the autonomic nervous system. And I'm not doing full service to Dr. Porges because it's a very complex theory, but one aspect that I want to spotlight today is this idea in our nervous system. We go through something called the fight, flight, freeze response, and that's kind of more of our reptilian reaction. We're hardwired in that. But as we begin to soften the trauma events and the trauma imprints in our nervous system, we actually move to a more mammalian response, which is empathic capabilities. And social engagement is one of the keys in stimulating this type of evolution. So I'll speak more about the polyvagal theory in the November 13th class. I'm also going to send you a handout that was a really fabulous interview. Somebody interviewed Dr. Porges. But I want to say that the polyvagal theory is in some ways very connected to what we're going to do today, because it really can help us access a deeper level of neuroplasticity. And I don't want to go too deeply into all the different aspects of the polyvagal theory because it can get kind of dense, and I want to stay focused in the practical aspects of what we need to do so that you can get what you need. So I'll send you, again, this interview. I'll talk more about it in our next lecture. You certainly can go to YouTube and type in Dr. Porges. He's got some great YouTube videos. He's also written a lot of different things. He's done a lot of research. His wife, Dr. Sue Carter, has also done a lot of research in the area of something called oxytocin and vasopressin, and how those impact our nervous system and fluid body. He's worked very closely with one of my teachers, Emily Conrad. Emily started the somatic practice continuum movement. You could certainly Google Emily Conrad and continuum movement. And she worked with Stephen Porges in the evolution of moving the continuum movement work further. So there's a lot of connections here between Porges and Conrad, and those are some sources that you can look for in terms of your Google search. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from the EyeClarity Podcast show today. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. See you here next time.